Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So I really hope everybody had a safe and happy New Year's yesterday. I was noticing a lot of celebration photos over there on Twitter. So it is January the 1st, 2023, and I wanted to wish you guys all a happy New Year. I know I did it at the end of yesterday's video, but also wanted to do it today. You know, we're bringing in a new era for cryptocurrency. And Kaleo here bringing up something, interesting on the first day of the year. The 2023 Bitcoin yearly candle looks great so far. And so far 2023 has been a bullish year. Take a look at that candlestick compared to last year's crappy bearish candlestick. Guys, I've got Bitcoin here on the 12-month. I noticed an interesting pattern. Okay, all joking aside now. So we do have positive momentum for Bitcoin so far this year. We can see, though, over the last several years, Bitcoin volume has decreased. Other than 2016 over here, you guys can see Bitcoin volume has been decreasing. Take a look at this trend, though. After a bearish year, 2 cycles in a row, we've seen 1, 2, 3 bullish candlesticks, a bearish year, 1, 2, 3 bullish candlesticks, a bearish year, and so what is this year going to bring? Now, this is usually a transition year where we see, a large swing for Bitcoin. Although what we tend to find, or at least what we have in the last 2 cycles, is that the Bitcoin price will close on December 31st above the opening price on January the 1st. There will be, likely a lot of fluctuation in between there, as you guys can see. Whoops, right in here. This candlestick had a long wick down in here, or long tail. This one has a long wick, so you guys can see that. So far, we don't have too much information on this one as it is only the first day of the year, but hopefully we will see that trend continue. Crypto exchanges finished 2022 off with the lowest volumes in 2 years. I'm not surprised about that. This one coming from Kenwood Capital here on Twitter. So this data was found by the Blocks Data dashboard here, and you guys can see just down in here, cryptocurrency exchange volumes. Lowest it's been in 2 years, and that's obvious, par for the course considering 2020 and 2021 were fairly bullish years for cryptocurrency. 2022, again, similar to that 2018 year that we saw in crypto, that first year of decline after a large bull rally. And so we are seeing low volume. This is why exchanges are struggling at the moment. Exchanges that have, over leveraged are going bankrupt. Of course, the FTX story does not help matters. The 7-day moving average of crypto exchange volume hits $352.6 million, a 47.6% decrease compared to November of this year. Crypto exchange volumes have not been this low since December of 2020, when Bitcoin was trading at around $20,000. And so, we're not too much under that $20,000 mark. However, it is a very, very different vibe than it was a year ago today. I also wanted to bring this up too because this is the guy that partially sealed 2022's fate with the infamous FTX collapse. This one coming from Michael Branch here on Twitter. It's looking as though Sam Bankman-Fried, guys, is to plead not guilty to fraud allegations on January the 3rd. Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced founder of collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, will plead not guilty to fraud and other charges against him in an upcoming arraignment, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal, which cited a person familiar with the situation. Sam Bankman-Fried is expected to enter a plea of not guilty in Manhattan this coming Tuesday, which is only a couple days away now. The not guilty plea was widely expected, as it is pretty normal for criminal defendants to initially plead not guilty. Of course, he could change his plea at a later date. As reported, Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas earlier this month after U.S. prosecutors formally filed criminal charges against him. I don't have to go over that. I think we know the story there, even up to, the point where he posted the $250 million bond and is living with his family in Palo Alto, California. So guys, this is where we're at right now, 2023, starting to look like maybe we could see some justice, hopefully for the crypto space, but also for the Ripple SEC lawsuit. Cryptocurrency regulations and regulatory clarity, I think, started to form in 2022. We needed those several catalyst events, I think, to spur on lawmakers, to give them an excuse, basically, to say, hey, look over there, this is the problem. So now we're going to hit this hard, and I think coming in 2023, we are going to continue to see, a more concerted effort, I think, on behalf of lawmakers to really kind of hammer out these laws in a more meaningful way. It may be good for us in some ways, but it may not be great for cryptocurrency investors in other ways. And I mean, I could go over a multitude of reasons why that could be. It's not preventing Robert Kiyosaki, though, from buying more Bitcoin. This is another one here from Kenwood Capital. Robert Kiyosaki buys more Bitcoin right now, and here is why. So he posted this a couple of days ago, December 30th, 2022, right at the end of the year. He thinks Bitcoin's actually at a fairly good price point. Here's what he posted in this tweet. Are you investing in Bitcoin? He says, yes, I am. I'm very excited about Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is classified as a commodity, much like gold, silver, and oil. Most crypto tokens are classified as a security, and the SEC regulators will crush most of them. I am buying more Bitcoin. So at the same time, Kiyosaki's view is radically different from other cryptocurrencies, most of which he expects to be crushed by the SEC. So this is also part of it. I mean, you can play it really, really safe and get into Bitcoin. Some of us are taking a gamble. I mean, us in the XRP community, we are feeling fairly confident that XRP is going to come out of this. But you got to understand, most investors not feeling as comfortable as the XRP community. We've done our research. We've got lawyers within the community that are also kind of, helping us out, helping us understand, helping build our confidence with regards to our investment. And it's because of, all the reasons why we've loved this cryptocurrency from day one. And the partnerships, right? The global partnerships. Ripple's not going anywhere. The XRP cryptocurrency is still seen as that gold standard. It's just this little hurdle, right, that we got to get past the SEC. And XRP being deemed a security. Even if you guys, if you guys did catch the video I did yesterday in that clip with Peter Schiff, right? He really didn't understand. He still didn't understand what XRP was until it was explained to him. And then you could see the wheels were turning in his head. A light bulb, bing, finally went on. And then his next argument was, but aren't they, in a lawsuit with the SEC and blah, 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 blah. So, this is a guy who is supposed to be a veteran trader. I mean, he is a gold bug, but, he knows enough about the economy, or at least he should know enough about the economy to know what's going on in the Ripple suit. And the fact that, we're seeing guys like him and their knowledge of the Ripple SEC case is so limited makes me think we really do have a lot of knowledge about this. And we really are at the starting point here, guys, building our XRP investments that are really going to pop in 2023, as soon as we get that positive verdict. So Bitcoin, on the one hand, classified by the SEC as good to go by Robert Kiyosaki, but let's not count out the handful of other cryptocurrencies that will also fare well once we get regulatory clarity. So we've got the Bitcoin chart on the yearly. Let's just take a look at XRP here really quickly. So I wasn't going to look at it on the yearly, but here we go. Negative so far in 2023, albeit not by much. Let's throw this on the daily real quickly here. XRP right now on the daily trading at 33.8. Again, not too much really to write home about when it comes to the cryptocurrency market, at least on the day-to-day. Again, we got Bitcoin here up a little bit today, trading at about $16,500, but by and large, still just trading sideways in this level that it has been trading in basically since the FTX collapse. So what else is 2023 going to bring? Well, hopefully we are going to see more partnerships, especially with those projects, those cryptocurrencies that are solving problems. More utility is being derived every single day. XRP Darren Moore here, he posted this CO2 tokens on the XRP ledger. Now, we heard about this before. Here's a report that was released, a new era of carbon removal credits. This coming from Carbon Land Trust. And if you go down here, it just kind of gives their mandate here. Carbon Land Trust is a Web3 platform as a service that streamlines the tokenization and issuance of carbon removal credits for landowners and provides better transparency in the voluntary carbon market for multiple market participants. So just giving you guys a bit of an overview, some of the problems involved here: limited supply, variable removals. We know carbon, your carbon footprint, that is going to be a big topic moving into 2023. Cryptocurrencies that are environmentally friendly are also going to be, first and foremost, I think. They're really kind of, I think what's going to happen is they're really going to try to put stringent guidelines and maybe a lot of regulation on top of the proof of work coins. And so, we're starting to see a shift there. Bitcoin, who knows what's going to happen with Bitcoin? But just down here, if you go down to the bottom of this report, you guys can see here QT4 2022 token frameworks, tokenization and issuance of ESG assets based on legal MRV data on the XRPL utilizing XLS-20 and Interwork Alliance token taxonomy framework. So they're using the XRP Ledger and XLS-20, that protocol that was recently created on the XRP Ledger. Ecological Project XLS-20 NFTs based on IWATT. So for carbon removal credits based on that protocol and the certification of carbon removal as well. So an interesting move here. Wanted to thank Darren for pointing that out. So here's where we're seeing the trend for cryptocurrencies, or at least certain cryptocurrencies. Where is the trend going, guys, for the economy in 2023? Judy Shelton brought this up. Gold buyers are binging on the biggest volumes for 55 years. Now, we know Judy Shelton, a bit of a gold bug in her own right. During the Trump administration, I know there's a clip out there, and I know I've showed it on my channel in the past, of her talking about a new financial system being run through cryptocurrency that would be based on gold. Well, here we're seeing it, guys. Central banks around the world are scooping up gold at the fastest pace since 1967. So, I mean, if this doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. With analysts pinning China and Russia as big players in an indication that some nations are keen to diversify their reserves away from the US dollar. So, along this same narrative, US dollar dominance going down. The BRICS countries, especially China, Russia, and India, buying up lots and lots of gold. Data compiled by the World Gold Council, an industry-funded group, has shown demand for the precious metal has outstripped any annual amount in the past 55 years. Last month's estimates are also far larger than central bank's official reported figures, sparking speculation in the industry over the identity of buyers and their motivations. The flight of central banks to gold, guys, would suggest the geopolitical backdrop is one of mistrust, doubt, and uncertainty. So this is the reason why, or at least this is the reason we're given why these countries are fleeing to gold after the U.S. and its allies froze Russia's dollar reserves, said Adrian Ash, head of research at Boyan Vault, a gold marketplace. The last time this level of buying was seen was 1967. So an interesting little geopolitical, economical point here that they're making. And, this is no surprise. I think gold buying is going to actually continue to increase in 2023, especially if we are to move on to a new financial system. All the money at Real Lisa Daily down here saying, the BRICS nations want to get away from US dollar dominance. In other times, the US MIL would enforce the petrodollar. I think the US doesn't want to have the GRC responsibility anymore. USD will just become a reserve currency and not the reserve currency. So an interesting point here. Wanted to thank Judy Shelton, obviously, for posting that. Michael at Val5 Links, keeping it along this same vein. Priorities in 2023. So India now, here's what they're saying about cryptocurrency regulation. And I think this is going to have to do with a new financial system. I think this all ties in. Developing global crypto regulation is a priority for G20 under India's presidency. So not going to get into this too much. Just read a little bit of this. The Reserve Bank of India says one of the priorities for the G20 under India's presidency is to develop a framework for global regulation, including the possibility of prohibition of unbacked crypto assets. So notice that they're talking about certain crypto assets that they're going to prohibit. Not necessarily a sweeping regulation so that all cryptocurrency is banned or anything that is kind of ridiculous like that, but specifically the prohibition of unbacked crypto assets, stablecoins, and DeFi. The Indian central bank warned that turmoil in crypto asset market is among the major risks that can potentially undermine global financial stability. So these guys are getting wiser, I think. It's looking as though they are, fine-tuning, tailoring the narrative a little bit to say, it's not all cryptocurrency that's bad. We are going to definitely be using certain cryptocurrencies in this new financial system. We're not going to necessarily ban all cryptocurrencies, but we are going to really take a hard look at which cryptocurrencies we want to promote, which cryptocurrencies we see fit to, be part of the financial system, and we're going to go from there. Here's a quote from India's central bank: regulating new technology and business models after they have grown to a systemic level is challenging. To promote responsible innovation and to mitigate financial stability risks in crypto ecosystem is vital for policymakers to design an appropriate policy approach. In this context, under India's G20 presidency, one of the priorities is to develop a framework for global regulation, including the possibility of prohibition of unbacked crypto assets, stablecoins, and DeFi. So targeting those three specifically. And you can see where those particular items within the cryptocurrency world can be a threat to a new financial system. So, they're being smart now. This isn't 2019, 2020, or 2021 anymore. the regulation is changing and it's becoming more laser focused. So wanted to thank Michael for that. Another one from Michael Branch here. This one has to do with Russia. So along those same lines, a new draft law devoted to the digital ruble has been filed with the State Duma, the lower house of Russian parliament. The legislation introduces rules determining how the new form of national fiat will be issued and amends a series of legal acts to facilitate its implementation. Since Russia is going to be fairly central to this new financial system, the one that the BRICS nations are going to create or that are creating currently, it's important for them to really nail this down. And so, this is why we're seeing this. The Bank of Russia to be the sole operator of the digital ruble platform. So, they're taking charge here. A group of Russian lawmakers led by chairman of the Financial Market Committee have submitted draft legislation on the digital ruble, the central bank digital currency minted by Russia's monetary authority. The document suggests legislative changes meant to create the conditions for its introduction. So just more development here with regards to the digital ruble. And we know China's already got the digital yuan. So, this is the first step maybe to denote the end of U.S. dollar dominance, once this gets off the ground, up and running, and we've got, independent trade going on in the world of finance that does not include the U.S. dollar. So just another update there. Wanted to thank Michael for pointing that out. So guys, the U.S. obviously has to react to this, and it sounds as though they are. This is a clip of Nelly Liang, brought to us by 801_XRP. Nelly Liang, Undersecretary for the Domestic Finance and U.S. Treasury. So for those of you guys who do not know, she is the Undersecretary for Joe Biden in the Treasury for Domestic Finance. She was previously an economist. And check this out over here, guys, even just doing a quick Google search, you can see she's written some articles here, Enhancing Liquidity of the U.S. Treasury Market Under Stress by Nelly Liang. So that was back from December of 2020. But, acknowledging here, observing the fact that liquidity is a problem. It was in 2020, and it has only become a larger problem as the economy has gotten even worse. So what does she say here, guys? An interesting little synopsis, guys. I'm going to play you this clip, and then we're going to talk about some of the concepts that Nelly Liang here discusses with regards to a new financial system. I think a lot of this sounds very positive, especially if Ripple and XRP do finally get clarity, which we are assuming that they will in the coming months. Listen to this.
As useful for the Fed's efforts. Third, the leadership from the Federal Reserve, the White House, and the Treasury Department will meet regularly to discuss the progress of the CBDC working group and to share updates on CBDC and other payment innovations. The second recommendation of the report is to encourage use of instant payment systems. Retail instant payment systems transfer funds nearly instantly, as opposed to the multi-day settlement period that occurs on some legacy systems. In the US, examples include the clearinghouse's RTP network, launched in 2017, and the FedNow service, which the Fed plans to launch in 2023. Global experience suggests that instant payments can make the payment system more competitive, efficient, and inclusive. Yet the potential benefits could be limited by certain frictions, such as inertia, slow adjustments among consumers, businesses, and financial institutions to change their habits or procedures to incorporate new technologies. In addition, these instant payment systems are generally accessible only to depository institutions. So to maximize the benefits from instant payments, the report suggests several efforts. First, the US government should continue outreach efforts around instant payments with a focus on the inclusion of underserved communities. Second, the US government should promote development of technologies that would allow consumers to more readily access instant payment systems. And third, in settings where appropriate, the US government agencies, which send and receive millions of payments a day, should consider and support the use of instant payment systems.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there for a sec. I'm going to just go over a few things that Nelly Liang has said in this clip that piqued my interest. So, here she's talking about moving into 2023. More progress is going to be made by all factions of government. So you notice how she talked about, I can't remember which ones, but she was saying how different factions of government or different facets of government are going to now collaborate on these new instant payment systems, this new, adoption, this new transformation to a new financial system. So she talked a little bit about instant payments and how clearinghouses, RTP networks, and FedNow are going to be revamped. We already know that FedNow, there is a connection to Valente Technologies. But FedNow, that's going to be more for domestic payments, even though Valente does leverage XRP. It's a good sign, although I'm not sure if XRP will be utilized in that capacity. I mean, domestic payments, like Brad Garlinghouse has even said, no real need for XRP because there's no need for that conversion. Nevertheless, she talks about the inclusion of underserved communities and the fact that U.S. tech should be fostering this type of adoption. And to basically make these types of payments mainstream. So this is all a move in the right direction. Let me continue, guys, with this clip.
The third recommendation is to establish a federal framework for payments regulation. This recommendation recognizes that non-bank financial institutions are increasingly providing payment services. They are contributing to competition, innovation, and inclusion. But non-banks that are not adequately regulated and supervised may pose risks to the users and the financial system. Today, oversight of non-bank payment providers is generally at the state level, and this varies significantly across states and may not address certain risks in a consistent and comprehensive manner. Accordingly, the report recommends considering the establishment of a federal framework for non-bank payment providers. A federal framework would provide a common floor for minimum financial service resource requirements and other standards that may currently exist at the state level. It also would complement existing AML, CFT obligations, the anti-money laundering and countering of finance terrorism obligations, and consumer protection requirements that apply to non-bank payment providers. A federal framework could work in conjunction with the US CBDC or with instant payment systems. It could provide oversight of firms that a US CBDC system may rely on to provide a range of financial services. In addition, it could provide a pathway for non-bank payment providers to participate directly in instant payment systems. And finally, the fourth recommendation is to prioritize efforts to improve cross-border payments. Cross-border payments, those that go from one jurisdiction to another, can take multiple days to clear and may have high fees. Indeed, it is one of the main impetuses for the development of much of the new technologies and efficiencies for payments. The report's final recommendation supports work to develop a faster, cheaper, and more transparent international payment system while considering the potential risks associated with greater integration of cross-border systems. It recognizes that the United States has a strong national interest in supporting global standards for cross-border payment systems that reflect US values, including privacy and human rights, consistency with AML CFT obligations, and US national security. So just to summarize, we believe the digital assets and instant payments can transform money and payment systems. The report makes 4 recommendations. We hope to continue to work closely with other parts of the government on these very important issues. And thank you, Tim, again, for inviting me today.
All right, so to finalize, Liang talks about non-bank financial institutions. So, moving away from that traditional concept of a bank, and we're seeing a lot of this already with Ripple Partners, right? These secondary companies that want to perform cross-border transactions. Well, she talks about cross-border transactions specifically later on, but the Flutter Waves of the world, the D-Moneys, the D-Locals, all those types of companies that have decided to run on Ripple. Not to say that those are American companies, but there are definitely going to be a handful of American companies that want to do the same. She's talking about non-bank financial institutions, how they need to be regulated, but how they want them, how the US government wants them included in this story here. So she talks a little bit about a federal framework and how that could work in conjunction with CBDCs, and how they could create pathways for non-banks, these types of companies, to participate. Of course, these companies likely going to be running on DLT technology, and I think, for domestic payments specifically, maybe we'll see some XLM and Stellar implementation there. And then she finalizes this summary with prioritizing cross-border payments, the biggest thing that we as Ripple XRP holders want to hear, okay? They want to make it faster, cheaper, basically all the points that Ripple has been touting since day one. This is two of their largest priorities. So she says, the US, there's a strong interest in supporting global standards. We know ISO 20022 is going to be that new global standard moving forward, and we know the US is working towards that goal. We know Ripple and XRP have already committed to that standard. Also, there's, the consistency with AML, anti-money laundering rules, so on and so forth. So it sounds to me, guys, like the US does want to run on Ripple. We just need that clarity, but all signs are pointing to using US crypto DLT technology to modernize the financial system. It's all just going to hinge on what we hear in the SEC versus Ripple XRP lawsuit and how lawmakers are going to take that information and run with it. So to cap things off here, XR Beans posted this. This was from Hugo Fillion of the Flare Networks, and I did not know he posted this. Little poem here for the new year. Ring out wild bells to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let them die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Here we go, guys, ringing out 2022 and ushering in a brand new 2023, hopefully filled with crypto adoption that will promote XRP utility, giving it more demand and sending it straight to the moon. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.